Hey guys, welcome back to the Vid-Bits. My name is Brian, aka Pops, hanging out with you. Happy 4th of July, and we are defending the Global Chomp Champs title for a couple hours today. Live 4th of July, just like we did last year. And hopefully you'll enjoy a little bit of it, and have a great 4th of July yourself. Hopefully everybody's playing some fun stuff. Looking forward to some cool games. I am definitely looking forward to the new Donkey Kong. It's gonna be amazing. It's done by the same studio that did Odyssey, so you know the same development team within Nintendo, and it really is starting to lead to the belief that it's kind of a prequel to Odyssey in a way. So really looking forward to how that performs. I'm gonna restart Cyberpunk on Switch 2 here soon for the channel. I'm waiting on somebody to comment or say something about the Yakuza Director's Cut, but nobody hasn't, so I haven't continued that yet, but I'm definitely interested in doing some more of that. It's very fun. Also planning to restart Dave the Diver. Probably not going to do the voiceover stuff I was doing, but restarting Dave the Diver on Switch 2, probably starting it before the patch that's coming, but there's an improvement patch coming, and that way we'll all be able to see the improvement pre and post patch, and it's an amazing game anyways, and there's some DLC that's related to Dredge, and since I actually beat Dredge, it'd be fun to see how that ties in. But currently, we are the champion. We're reigning and defending because we won last season. So, but you know, we're from America, so this is the second 4th of July in a row that we've held the Pac-Man Championship for America silently here in our little landlocked location, which we haven't really divulged. Just, you know, doing it for us, doing it for the Vid-Bits, man. Doing it for people that believe in this channel and that you can do anything. Father and son trying to do their hardest to provide entertaining video game content from across the spectrum of many different decades of video game knowledge and expertise. Anything that you could do to help the channel is appreciated. Liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting that notification bell so you know when we do stuffs. But yeah, I'm Brian, aka Pops, and my son Braden is currently still drifting away in La La Land. But I'd like to do lots of fun stuff here on the channel. Being global Pac-Man champion is one of them. Ooh. Oh, that was sick. I'm gonna do something stupid like that. Also, buy Shadow Levin. We are not paid sponsors by Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated by any means, even though I've tried and won championships for them and put all this content out. But I digress. That game's gonna be amazing. If you like Metroidvanias, if you like Pac-Man, it's gonna be both of that. I have no idea how, but it will, and it's gonna be amazing. So, if anything else, one part may be better than the other, And it also could be a situation where, regardless, it could be the only way to access what would be traditionally considered Pac-Man Championship Edition 3. It's kind of hidden in there. Would really like to get some consistency coming up soon with the flow of content again. We're very thankful that the people that tune into us don't really have a lot of demands as far as like what we do, but we would like input sometimes if we haven't touched on a series that we started, or you know, stuff like that. Really good to have that kind of feedback, that way we know. But for the most part, we're an open flow state channel where a lot of the content is usually derived based on the current field of how we are gonna be able to provide that content for you. So we don't do things that are forced or whatever, because you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell that it's not genuine and that we're not enjoying it, and that's the last thing that we want to do, is produce content that's not favorable for rewatching, or gonna put you in a negative state of mind if you listen to it on a day that it wasn't live. Pardon me. Case in point, we did a game for Game of Day May last year called Stray, and it's an amazing game, but because it's more of a game that we didn't research as far as like how it plays, it's more of a personal experience type game, and so like not being in the best of moods the day that it was played, and then knowing that, it was really hard to provide gameplay that was engaging, interesting, and favorable for the developer in all of the respect for the time that they put into it. So that kind of was just a statistical laydown of something that happened, that we would never do something like that on purpose, so we didn't play it more than an hour, and we haven't revisited it, because I really do believe that that's a game that even if I played it for the channel, like the wonderment that I'm feeling while I'm playing it isn't going to necessarily resonate the same way with somebody else that's playing it, because it's an individualistic experience. So, not to be said that those type of experiences couldn't be played on the channel or haven't been played on the channel. That specific one, I just don't believe is going to ever get the just due if we did anything further with it. I also feel the same way with a game like Braid. Games that, if we did all of it and you got to see the whole experience, it may affect the way that you view it. And really, another situation like that is that game is a game that you should play, and then we could talk about it. You know, maybe a certain situation where it's like, we make those videos members only videos, and you should know that you only watch it if you have beaten the game, and then you want to watch somebody else play through it so that you can have a conversation about it. Those two games would fall into that category. But I've done videos for the channel on both of those, and with those being the only outliers over the 3+ years of content that we've made now for YouTube, you're not going to get forced and canned stuff with us. Nobody's paying us to play something and then us giving you an opinion based on us making sure that we don't make them dissatisfied so we can continue future brand deals. Like, I don't know. I hate that. It's always misleading when you get into a game, because there was a bunch of people that were bought off into the review process, and then you pay for the game and it doesn't ever really resonate with you or make you feel the same way, and the only thing that you really feel is, kind of slighted or jilted that you were taken for your money, so to speak. So it's important, for us that we play things that you know the community likes, but also things that we feel that we're gonna enjoy. But then at the same time, if we don't, then we also are the type of channel that will just stop playing it. Like, what was it? I bought Atom Fall and got into that, and it was just so boring. And it's nothing against the people that made it or anything like that, and I'm never trying to like make people lose money. But man, it just the thought of me, if that came out in PlayStation 1 era, it would have been great, because that was fine. That was fine to have the you figure it out and all that stuff to it, but outside of that, in 2025, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, it makes no sense to me how that could happen. I mean, I guess they could say it's a harping back to older stuff. Like it's more like a Kingsfield meets Choose Your Own Adventure book. I mean, you beat the game whenever you feel like you find a way to beat the game, and then you can beat the game a couple more times. With that being said, if it was more balanced where I wasn't killing somebody and getting enough resources just to kill one more person, sans maybe gain a bullet or two, or a med pack or two, it was very grindy to try to get into it. So I asked the community in a poll if I was okay to stop it, and a couple of our members were like, yep, totally get it. Felt the same way. And it's cool that, we have a community here where we can do stuff like that. But if for some reason, if I was playing it, if one of the couple times I played it, if somebody would have came in like my guide or guy in the chair, I probably would have been okay to continue it a little bit further. But I really just don't do that. I don't, especially these newer experiences. I try to wait till I hit an absolute wall before I'll go through and look for help. But I'm always open to that old school playground mentality of like sharing tips and tricks and stuff about stuff. So if people that know stuff, and as long as they're not super backseating the experience, it's always great to have people that are able to be like, hey, this is something you're missing, or hey, don't forget that this is coming up. If you don't know, there's something that you could miss, and I'll let you know if you miss it, instead of like, spoilers and all that stuff. I guess another example, it was something that I had my finger on the pulse of a little bit, was that Mind's Eye game, and it just wasn't even hardly playable, and did absolutely horrible. And it was just like, I was going to still buy it just to take a chance on it, and I'm glad that I kind of like was able to look at some people that I really kind of respect their opinions and see some gameplay and stuff, and save resources on not getting that. But then the developer claims it's been sabotaged and it's trying to relaunch its product, and I know that they're trying to be an alternative in a very competitive field, so The really dumb thing about this game, though, is like I have the most experience points out of anybody, and if I win this match, the guy that I'm in the match with, my God, that was insane. The guy that I'm in the match with is gonna get more experience points than me, regardless. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just like, it doesn't really favor me to face real people, but obviously I'm not gonna duck anybody. But it's just like, when I do, the matches are longer, and I don't get more experience points, so if I'm facing somebody that's actively min-maxing against me, I will lose ground having matches against these people, unless it's the person that's like right underneath me, which is fine, because then that just makes it so that other people can catch up some. But this person's pretty good. I mean, I don't really have the best... Let's see. I disagree. So I don't have the best defense. Is he still in here? Yeah, he's underneath me. And if he's the type of player that will stay in his own maze, he's not going to be able to, or they will not be able to outpace me, probably. I mean, statistically. I'm just trying to find out like what type of player they are and see how I can counteract that. They go too fast, so he's got more points now, but you know what I mean, like you have to like continue. Like if I get, we'll see what happens if I get 2 dazers. Oh, we're in the same maze. What did you do? Why would you do that, dude? Oh wait, you're being aggro. That's what it is. I really need some dazers here. There he goes. Come on. Let's respect. Did not want to do that. I just need to be safe for a second. Shoot. All right. Oh, damn it. Don't come over here. Cool, let's waste all of our dazers to try to get this extra guy. You must have really needed it. All you did was tell me that, that you really needed it, and I didn't. I was just trying to get it proactively so that you didn't get it. Crazy. Oh no! That was bad. He knows he's kind of screwed now. Sure. So you better use it. And you get enough time to get me. Good job. It's pretty competitive, man. What the heck? That was bad. Oh, come on. I got robbed there. God, I swear. Alright, man. Good game. GG's. Annoyed. I do not believe that that person is better than me. I just got bad luck there. I don't understand where that other dazer came from. That's frustrating. I do not want to keep matching up against them because I'm trying to get gains. But they will continue to be an annoyance to me. Because they are right there. See, look, they gained 100 experience points from that. They do not even play that often. It's fine. All I'll do is just adjust my strategy. It's not a problem. There's a couple different ways to handle it, so. I just don't like playing this game aggressively is really what comes to. I like to play, I mean, there's a couple people I know I have to do that against, but other than that, I'm more of a defensive player. I'd like to, if I'm in it with someone like that, I really was trying to stay in my own maze and see how far we could ramp it up, and then I would have gone over there if I had the right situation, but it is what it is. Again, GG's. I'm bitter. When the text pops up and screws you. Hey Brian Iowski, how you doing? Happy 4th of July. Just defending the championship for the Vid-Bits for America on 4th of July. Reigning, defending, undisputed, two-time United States, two-time global Pac-Man champion. Say it like a wrestling promoter. Just say it in the style of Paul Heyman. Four. Hey, William. Ooh, that's done. So you try to go down there and get that, buddy. See how well it worked out for me. You fractured both your arms. You can't do anything, but you did order a pizza. Well, I hope you recover, and, you know, it's not cool. Last year, yeah. But since then, I won the global championship again last month for the second time, and we're in the lead right now. Trying to control the controllable in my life right now. And it's Pac-Man's 45th birthday, so... gonna be leaning into Cyberpunk on Switch 2, Yakuza Director's Cut on Switch 2, a lot of Switch 2 games, Donkey Kong, Bonanza, that stuff, and then eventually I'm going to jump back on PlayStation and get back into Dark Souls 3. Have intention on restarting Dave the Diver on Switch 2 because it's going to get a performance update, and I'm really passionate about that game, and I'd like to restart it and not marry myself to doing voiceover for the whole thing. What else? Shadow Labyrinth, obviously. That's coming out in 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna start Cyberpunk over again on Switch 2. It's supposedly amazing, so. The only thing that I'm really gonna be missing from it is the speaker that you have on the PlayStation 5 controller, and it really did add an extra layer of depth to the experience. I'll be sad to not have that, but it really doesn't pick up well for people that are listening to it on stream unless I hold the controller close to the microphone anyways, so it'll be fine. Yeah, but we have that. And then also Hogwarts Legacy on Switch 2. Started that over just to play it on Switch 2. A lot of Switch 2 content. We promised you guys when we finally got this system based on using all the donations, majority of the donations that we've gotten from everything that we've gotten since we've been monetized. We compiled that up and just getting as much Switch 2 stuff as possible at launch month, so... But just like, it seems like we played a lot of Splatoon 3 so far, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart World. Yeah, I'm not a big... we got it for Xbox. I'm not a big fan, really, of Night Rain. It's just... I'm already not very good at those games, so, like, if you're the person that needs to be rezzed all the time, the fact that you literally, you know, or based on how many times you down, like, how many times you have to be, and you have to smack the opponents to, or your partners to res them, like, it just seems like it can take an ungodly amount of time to get somebody rezzed, and like, if you are the type of person, like it seems like the majority of the people that you're playing with that aren't your buddies per se, just run right ahead and just try to get to that conflict as fast as possible, and then not be able to take it down because it's a 3-person encounter, and then like they just, by the time that you get there, they've already downed twice. Then you try to res them, you can't successfully, and then they disconnect, and it's just the experience. It's just a shitty loop right now, for me. There's other people that probably thoroughly enjoy it, and I don't want to detract from that, so. Yeah, Braden keeps trying to get me to watch Better Call Saul, so I'm probably going to watch that before I watch Breaking Bad, so that I get a better... I mean, we already started watching it, I guess, if I remember correctly. I think we watched a couple episodes. I'm a big fan of Bob Odenkirk. I mean, I've followed his early career. His brother's very prolific. Very cool dude. Oops, wrong button. That guy that's in second place played all day to move up that spot, so they gotta be exhausted. All I can say is that people that are competing in this, it's definitely not a sprint. So, you can definitely make a significant amount of gains in a day. But if you do not have the mental wherewithal, you will burn yourself out, or you know, don't do what I did when I won Season 1 and stream every single game. Yes, Pac-Man, happy 45th birthday still is the year of his 45th anniversary. Again, the Shadow Labyrinth game that's going to come out in a couple weeks is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to stream that. We'll be doing that on Switch 2 as well, through the free upgrade of the Switch version, because I don't think that I could have bought a physical edition of it, so... No, I've never seen Ratatouille 1. I'm that weird guy. I just want to prove to people I can eat ghosts if I have to. Most of the time it's just making unnecessarily difficult for myself if I'm facing it off against bots. But it's not fun if you don't eat some ghosts. Yeah, we're also going to be doing a 2-player Shovel Knight speedrun sometime soon. What? He doubled back? He must have. He must have doubled back. Yep, never played any of the Little Nightmares games either. I heard they're pretty good though. I mean, we didn't do them for Spooktober last year, so we can definitely do that this year. You haven't heard of that movie, Dangerous Animals? Really wanted to see the movie Friendship and then the movie The Phoenician Scheme. Those are movies I really kind of want to see. I know I really haven't been much to the movies. I'm that weird guy that has to have the popcorn and all that stuff, and by the time that you do all that, it's a super expensive experience nowadays, so it really has to be worth it. Oof, didn't do it. Didn't make it in time. Yeah, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, they say, William. You know, it's a great thing to help you remember the fond times in your life, but it also can keep you trapped in a memory that can never be repeated. So you got to find your balance of respecting and admiring the past, and then looking forward to the future, realizing that, you know, sometimes things that are relics of the past will keep us trapped there, and other times that will remind us of greatness and keep us motivated. So but hopefully everybody's having a wonderful 4th of July from the Vid-Bits. Here reigning, defending, undisputed Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle Chomp champion for the 2nd time in a row, going for number 3. Not 2nd time in a row, going for 2nd time in a row. We won seasons 1, and we just won season 8. So this is the 9th season before they go into double digis. Yeah, we got a good lead right now. Alright, man. Enjoy your za. Pizza is amazing. Pizza is life. Look at Pac-Man. Looks like somebody just removed a slice of pizza. There he is. Look at his cool sunglasses. Cool thing was, season 1 last year, we had it during July, which we had it for 4th of July, I believe. We were champion, global champion, before the season had been announced when it was going to end last year, season 1 for 4th of July, so this is the 2nd year it's been eligible for anybody to be champion of any degree on 4th of July, and here we are finding ourselves the only 2-time 4th of July global champion, and the only, so far it's only been possible for 2 years, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. Just if you know about Pac-Man's historical accomplishments for America on 4th of July, the first publicized public game was played on the 4th of July, so it's just cool for us to be able to put ourselves in the conversation for feats for America that are Pac-Man related, and I couldn't be more honored or blessed and thankful, humble, appreciative about having that opportunity too, so. It was very, wasn't sure if I was going to be in that spot, but here we are, so. Yeah. And we're in the lead by about 10 hours, so our rival would have to wake up from their nap after playing a substantial amount of time, and then get on and take advantage of whatever time that we have off that we're not going to be on the game today, because we have some plans. We're trying to do some fun stuff today. I have a little bit of choring to do. Look at that. That was ballsy. Oh, Pacman, he's an OG. Back-to-back, two-time 4th of July global champions. That's sick. Ooh. Because he's freaking blue. Getting out of there. There's a couple of the backgrounds I do not like, and that is one of them. Because the dots are white because they want them to represent snowballs, but it's just very hard sometimes to discern what's the background and what's, you know, a pellet. And then on top of that, the light blue ghost blends in with the, you know, the background as well, so it's definitely more of a challenging maze to have as your home base maze. Silly string. Boop. Excuse me. Oh boy. It's my other favorite rival. It's probably just cue for me to get off the game today. David Dow likes to floss the tunnels, which absolutely annoys the crap out of me. It's basically where you will do this, and you just keep doing this until the prizes come in. It's not, anything but annoying to me, and that's what we'll find will be our end game between the two of us. That's why he's one of the only players I've blocked, because I just don't enjoy playing games against him, because it may take forever, and we're pretty even. But most of the time I'll just throw to him because I just don't want to have a long game. I'm not like, okay, I have a couple hours to play. I'm not trying to play a half an hour game because we're gonna jockey for dazers and flossing the tunnel, because that's the person I'll definitely do it against, because that's what they're gonna do. Also pretty bitter because I was in a tournament last year where I was seeded against him, and he's one of the only people I've blocked, and I literally had to unblock him to play against him, and I just didn't understand how the odds were that in round one of this tournament I was seeded against him. Like, it was supposed to be an independently ran tournament, and there was a little bit of wonderment as to why we weren't allowed to see the brackets ahead of time or anything like that. So here we go. I just tried to avoid it the whole time, and here we are. Yep, see where he's at, see what he's doing. See? I called it. Like, I literally called it. And he's just so annoying. It's also part of the reason why I stopped playing this game, is because, like, it was getting to the point where that was becoming like a meta move, and I'm just not down with it. He's probably got at least one dazer. Boop. Yep. I'm gonna throw. I can't even throw. There we go. Good job, David. You're definitely better than me. That's why you've never probably been global champion. And if you have, it was a season that nobody was good that was playing. Space wasn't playing, I wasn't playing. Like, let's see you get to Pineapple 55 like Space did. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so annoying, and I hate it because I come across bitter. But see, you got 100 experience points for facing me. So it's just like, it's not beneficial. So if I would have beat him, I would have gotten 50 experience points, and he still would have gotten 79. And it's just annoying. Like, got this dude on my blocked list, and the game still won't recognize it and still makes me play against him. So got a kill screen last season trying to switch servers so that I didn't have to face him, because I just don't like that playing style. I was very adamant about it last year, and again, like when I was in this tournament, that I literally had to unblock dude so that I could play in the tournament, and somehow, because I publicly had all of my games on, YouTube or whatever, it was just amazing how I was seated against him in round one, like, of this tournament that was completely random. I couldn't let us see the brackets, and they wouldn't let us see the brackets, but, it was all, I'm not going to even say who ran it or anything. You know, but just funny. Real funny how random that was. They were all friends for, $1,000 cash prize or whatever. Randomly seated. But if David Dow was really as good as, their play is, then why aren't they anywhere in the conversation? The game's been out for over a year and they got 2,500 matches. Space played for 2 seasons, and then that's why he's got 2,300 matches. Dude is just constantly annoying the shit out of me. End of rant. Guy like that, I pretty much have to get 4 lives, 2 dazers early, get into their maze, get them killed early, get them in situations where they have to face off against ghosts in precarious positions that they can't defend themselves in, and then do what me and him do, which is either dazer or shield each other off the beginning of a fresh maze. Like, it's just, the game is the same every time. So at that point, it just comes down to luck as to, who's gonna floss the tunnel at the correct time to get a dazer, or who's gonna be lucky enough to have one just spawn right next to them. So really, I mean, even when I win too, I don't feel like it's like a skill-based win. It feels more of like a luck-based win. It was probably a lot easier for me to win season 8 last month, because I didn't hardly stream any of my content for this game this time. So nobody really knew my playing patterns or any of that. But it made season 1 all the more sweet, because I was completely transparent as to when I was playing in every match I played and the quality of my matches, because there is ways that you can pretty much, like, I don't know, min-max grind to, I don't know if it's pretty much to a lesser extent. Like, if you get to specific, like, to 8th place and use die on purpose. But I think it's just, one more thing about that last match is, like, I literally said how he was going to play, and that's exactly how he played. So just, like, it's not like I'm even, making stuff up. He didn't even try to, like, play in the maze. He didn't try to see, race to power-ups or anything. Like, this, what skill is doing this the whole time? Like, what skill is that? I think it wouldn't even be, if we were in situations where this game was as populated as the company hoped it would be, there wouldn't even be situations where people could use, like, the tunnel flossing strategy like that, because their mazes would all be populated with, like, real people that were making intelligent decisions, so there'd be a lot more chaos. Like, right now, it's populated with the Ghost AI, but also, like, Pac-Man AI, and, like, you can kind of predict how they're gonna do things, because they do have a couple of absolutes in their programming. Like, if they're near a prize, they will prioritize the prize. If they are near a fruit target, they will prioritize the fruit target, even if it means they can see there's clearly something that's going to take them out. But I guess the reason why I get better against situations I was just in is because if we were playing like how me and Space play, most of the time. I mean, I've been kind of aggressive, unfortunately, playing against him as of late, just because I know that it would take, we could probably play an hour, because he will stay in his maze if you want to, and just see how far you can get the game to go, and, you know, that's how I prefer to battle people. That's my preferred, but I know the game is about chomping other Pac-Man, and if it comes down to it, but I like to see, in most cases, and I just don't believe that that person I'm talking about the last time is capable of having games like that at all. It'd be a lot easier for me to like accept defeat too if I thought that they were, but there's only a couple people that can stay in the maze as long as I can, or Space can. That's why Space was Season 2 winner. But David will like win against me and then like just sit there and rest on his laurels for a while, like, oh, there it is. It's annoying. Uh-oh. I'm facing somebody real. Game loaded in less than a minute and 20 seconds, so probably him. Guess what? If it's David Dow, I'm gonna go outside and do yard work and cut my grass. No, I'll handle that. That's Little Mama. All right, that's what's up. That's a top 10 contender. Let's see how this goes. I'm excited. Damn, Brian. Damn. Little Mama still hanging out. They got me. Oh no. That's that. Now if we look, I gained 50 and they gained 80. Why? They were in second place. See what I'm saying? It's not advantageous, unfortunately for me, to face real people. Because when I do, I give them more gains than they can get if they face off against AI people. And it's definitely been the most annoying and non-understandable aspect of the scoring system of this game. Is that serious? Nintendo president tells those who can't afford a Switch 2 to experience Nintendo elsewhere. What the hell? That's horrible. That's a horrible take. Hey Trey. Yep. Back-to-back 4th of July champ, global champ, and then season 1s and 8s, United States and global champ, reigning defending. Just had to control the controllable in some aspect of my life right now. We got everything else in the hopper that'll start rolling back out, and got a lot of Switch 2 content coming up. But yeah, like I said earlier, this is the second 4th of July that this game's been live, and we had the championship last year, and we have it as well during this one, so you can definitely say that we're back-to-back 4th of July champion for Pac-Man. Somehow, even though the game was not created here, it just seems like it's very patriotic because of the perfect game that was played on the 4th of July. I guess regardless of everything else that's going on with that individual, they did achieve that, so... Yeah, what I want to see happen is for all these guys that I can't seem to be doing too well recently in one-on-ones, I want to see, you know, an equally fought match with everybody in the same maze, but we all know that won't happen. We tried that. Would they do that? Would anybody else do that kind of stuff? Probably not. Mr. Socrates. That's a new name. Well, not a new name, but an old school name. Yeah, Championship Edition 2 is really good, Space. Pac-Man DX. That's a game I think that hasn't gotten a lot of love. Or DX Plus. Those are really good games too if you haven't experienced those. That dude that just passed you or whatever, they played like all day. They had a super long session. I'm really just mainly just biding my time right now, waiting for Shadow Labyrinth, because like the Pac-Man portion of that game is supposedly going to be, you know, Pac-Man Championship Edition 3, so if there's any type of scoring metric to that, or a separate mode that allows you just to play that portion and then have a score attack on that, I'm going to be so excited for that. But DX Plus is like one of my favorite games because of the chaining, and then like because of the bomb. Like there's just so much cool stuff you can do to make the games last longer, and then all the different modes and stuff. And then like the leaderboard compiles everything that you do across all of the modes, and wish more people knew about it, really. That was dumb. That was not smart. Yeah, no, I get it. And like you say the regular edition, talking about just DX, like a lot of that has to, like the railing is a little bit different, but especially when you get in the when you get to the fastest speeds, it's its own beast. Like I've played those games at the fastest speeds and had people in the room that had to kind of look away because they couldn't keep focused on it because of how fast it actually is. So you can definitely make misinputs when you get there, and especially because it's, you know, very touchy, trying to give you like ultimate control over last minute, like hundredths of a second timing. I mean, it's the same way in this game, but like not until you get into faster pineapple levels. But you would know that because you probably, I mean, you made it to pineapple 55. I know me and you last year made it into the 30s or so, but I'd like to see how high I can get in that. But it took I took Myra into level 7 a couple days ago, and oh man, people aren't used to it, and they think the game's gonna end, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh shit, why am I keep going? And then they just can't hang because very few people can hang. I was saying earlier, if you just stay in your own maze and just keep going, you're one of the few people that can get up there. So, but most people won't do that. Like, most of the people that are my rivals that are not you will not do that. Most of those people are just trying to like nope, double dazer shield, invade your maze as soon as possible and kill you. They won't do duration or endurance runs. But a lot of people still probably don't even know stuff like this, like the Sparkster, like the fact that when you're emitting sparks, it's proving that you're going faster or you can go around corners quicker. So like when people don't know how to do that and you're racing for an Energizer, then they're not going to win those races, and they don't know why probably. It's because you're railing and they're not. So, you know, that also applies to how you floop around corners. Like you floop around that corner faster when you're railing versus when you're not. And people won't know that, and then they don't know why they're losing 1v1s, and it's because the other person is holding to the rail. That's a lot of that is in DX and DX Plus as well, so. But if you're talking about regular Championship Edition, I love that game too. That game's amazing. I just did a full all the achievements on the channel the other day for that game. Because it's pretty easy to do when you know, put some time in. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I know we tried last year, but if you want to figure it out, we could literally just like try to see how far we can go. Like, I appreciate that, Dre. This guy here coming up behind me here, this Domlit 55, they're a beastie. Well, that's gonna suck. Big Plopper just got their first L. That's what happens when you're that aggressive, brother. I mean, a third of my losses are to disconnects, then another couple are to not paying attention, and then like I've gotten one legitimate L against the computer. That's why, I mean, last year I cared about it a lot until it finally happened, and then I was so happy that it happened that I didn't have to stress about it again, because then I found out that you can get an L for getting an accidental disconnect before the, you know, when the game's in its first half or whatever, and so I just tried to make people not stress about that stupid stat, really. I'm more proud of some of my shit that I did last year, which was like the stream where I got 100 wins without dying, 100 min-max wins without, you know, 100 first place min-max wins, stuff like that. As unhealthy as all of that shit was. Yeah, I was in Pac-Maniac mode last year, so I got super hypersensitive about all of it. But I'm a lot more of an emotional guy than I let myself on to be sometimes, and just there's some times in life where it's just like there's very few things you can control, and I don't know. I've had a lot of extra stuff going on, and I try not to ever make that anybody else's problem, but I did, and I definitely apologize. Definitely apologize to how I handled stuff last year with you, Space, for sure. You live and you learn. I stepped away for 10 months. I was like, okay, I'm a fucking mental dude. Dare someone to come in here. This is a nightmare. I'm starving. Nothing sounds good. I have the Jurassic Park collection for Switch. Thinking about messing around with some of that. I just don't really know where to start. I only kind of messed around with the games passively as a kid. As my friends had them, I think we rented a couple of them, but True Steak. I asked for that. All right. It was free pain. So lucky. could have doubled back. Oops. Okay. I don't even know what happened there. Ew. Excuse me. Oh, it's neat. So how do we proceed here? Do we just let Nay do their thing, or do we just go over there and just wreck them? Look at me, starting off with death. Not good. Lucky. I don't know what keeps giving me all these extra guys I don't need. No, that was done. Well, that's as far as they could go. Gave them see, that's what I'm saying. Like they had all the opportunity to see how far they can go, and that's as far as they made it. To grapes. Nay, and still they got second place. They got 80 experience points. I got first place, and I got 50. Ugh, it's just a stupid system. So Definitely appreciate everybody that's hung out with me for a couple hours while I put some time in. An eighth of the day, but I will do a nighttime stream or a later stream as well. It's kind of like letting you know where we're at. Alright, that'll do it for me for this streaming session. For 4th of July, the first half, I'll do another one later, since it is, something I'm really proud of, that we are the reigning, defending, undisputed 4th of July Pac-Man Megatonal Battle Chomp Champs champion, because we were the champion globally last year during 4th of July for his first season. We're the champion this 4th of July for this season. We won the first season back when the game started last year. We just won the last season that just ended a couple days ago for Season 8, and now here we are leading in Season 9. Very thankful, blessed, humble, and appreciative to be in this position. Thank you for everybody that's hanging out for these streams. Thank you, Brian Iowski. Thank you, William. Thank you, Season 2 Champion, Space. Thank you very much, Dre. Really appreciate you guys. And yeah, we are up by 10,000 points over our newest rival, Dom, and then 11,000 points over Devenimer, and 13,000 over Space. And again, we're just trying to keep a good lead so that we can hopefully win Season 9. But until then, it's been Brian, aka Pops from the Vid-Bits, hanging out with you as your global Chomp champion, representing our channel, the Vid-Bits, and thank you so much for being a part of this, part of history, part of this, and again, very grateful and blessed to be the champion for 4th of July for the second eligible one in a row. So, nobody's taken that from us either, and we're really thankful to be there. So until next time, good gains, good goals, and good RNG, guys. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good 4th of July. See you later. Peace.